Hi everybody, welcome back to Functional Running Therapy. I'm Darren and I'm here today just to talk a little bit about squatting and lunging as a therapeutic movement tool. Okay, so we all know that kind of strengthening and improving how our hips function, our quads, our hamstrings and our calf is really good for sporting performance and I deal a lot with runners. And it's really good for improving running performance and efficiency, especially in the long runs. So when we have people come in complaining of injuries, like in their hips, or in their knees, or even ankles, we know that we're going to have to A, get movement into the joint, and then B, start to add a strength element. So we're trying to get some force into those joints or into those structures that is ideally pain-free. So we can make all the structures around the joint, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, everything stronger. So we can ideally put you back either into running or wherever it is you need to be doing without pain. And in my situation, definitely, my goal is to put you back in better than ever. Okay? So we're just going to talk about ways that we can vary kind of squatting and lunging in order to facilitate that process. And we can give people lots of options where just because maybe our standard squat might be giving someone knee pain, there's no reason why we can't tweak it. So we could do something like, we could change our foot positions, we could turn our feet in, we could turn our feet out, we could squat slightly in a split stance, so one leg forward, we could go wider, we could go narrower. Okay, and then we could even isolate different segments. So if we get a knee pain, we might still want to squat, so we might still want to get our hamstrings, glutes, quads working. We might just do a bit more hip dominant squatting, alright? And then with our hip dominant squats, again, we can mimic all of these different positions. Okay, now they're not just there to look flash or look jazzy. Every time you change a foot position, or you can even add in hand reaches, there are a multitude of different things you can do, right? Where every time you change something, you change the reaction in the hip, you change the reaction in the ankle, you change the reaction in the knee, even the upper body, okay? And it's that little difference, a little subtle shift in the reaction that you're going to get with your clients can put them in a position for success or failure. So if you're not in a position of success, so if a standard squat is giving your clients knee pain, you have a multitude of options now. So you can either say, right, what I'm going to do, I might go for a toe-in approach, and I'm going to get them squatting again, still get some good flexion going through that knee, good bit of weight bearing, but we're going to give them a lot more support around the hips, because just having those toes turned in, turns on your glutes, turns on your lateral hamstring a little bit more, so it helps your quads out. So that could be a very successful way of taking pain away from your client. We could keep them in a normal stance and try a hip dominant squat where we're sitting back a little bit more, we get a tiny bit of knee flexion, but nowhere near as much. Alternatively, we could have a client with hip pain who is struggling with hip pain when they squat. Now I've got one of these clients at the moment and she's really struggling with a muscle called the gracilis, which runs on the inside, attaches right up. So now we're trying to make her a little bit more of a knee dominant squatter. Okay, so strategy we've started with is, hey, I don't want to stop her squatting because she's going to need to do that to go back into a fitness program later. So we just get her doing a bit more knee dominant squats. We don't get her sitting as back as far. Alright, so we get her doing knee dominant squats and we change position and we see where we're successful and where we might be getting a bit of pain. Okay, so we're still working the quads, we're still working the hamstrings, we're still working the glutes to get successful motion and to build strength and stability. Now we can do the same with lunging. Okay, so our lunge, we can fix a lunge position, we can mess about with the feet, you know, we could go range of motion, and we could lunge and move from the hip, where we're not getting much knee flexion, or we could not do so much from the hip, and we could really work on pushing our knee over our toe, or even pushing our knee to the inside, pushing our knee to the outside, and every time we do that, we create a different reaction. And if we can create a reaction where we put our client in a position of success, where they don't get pain, then for me, that's a great job as a rehabilitation specialist. Alright? So we always want to look for that successful motion where our clients are pain-free, but they can continue to do the movements and the exercises that you know are going to help them get back to the sport, whether it's running, football, golf, rugby, anything, you name it. Alright? Pain-free, with better movement or better movement quality than they've ever had, with more options to help bulletproof them from further injuries. So that's what this video is really about, okay? Is giving you guys just an insight into how my brain works and thinking about, right, we don't just have to squat in one position. If we get in pain somewhere because of a squat in this position, then we can keep squatting, we can just do something a little different. We can keep that squatting reaction happening, but we're taking the pain away and we're making our client more successful. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and check in again next time. And yeah, please let us know what you think. Take care, and I'll see you soon.